Welcome back, viewers. Just before the break, we asked a question to Mr. Tofail. If a taxman walks into a business unannounced, does the business have any rights? And I think he's almost completed the question, but we're going to tell him to carry on from where he was.
Yes, when the unannounced visit does happen, don't panic. Just stay calm. Stay calm, and obviously be nice to them. Obviously, you want to help them, and obviously they will help you. Okay. So, at the end of the day, they are human beings as well. So, as I said, just a quick recap. You do have rights where, if you are busy, if the time isn't reasonable, you can always say to them, "Please come some other time," okay. Or you'd like to see them at the accountant's office. If you are not confident or comfortable, you can always say to them, "I won't allow you entry." The worst that could happen to you is they will charge you £300 penalty.
Okay, so you can say, "I won't allow you entry."
Yes, you can.
Okay.
But providing they don't have a letter from the tribunal where they actually then can come in.
Oh, that's when they have.
Yes, but which is very rare.
Okay. And what if they don't accept to go away?
Well, I can't say you can call the police, but they would understand that you are busy, and when they do come in, they will give you a letter. On that letter, it says your rights, and you just could point the right to them.
Oh, right, point it out to that
yes.
point. Yeah. Okay. Why and what would actually trigger an investigation in a business?
Typically, if it's a VAT investigation, typically it's the unpaid VAT. So if you're VAT registered and you've submitted your VAT return, and you're always late paying VAT return, that's one of the easiest one, or the one common one where they visit the trader or the businesses. And they'll also look at businesses locally or similar businesses. They see how come you're not registered and others are registered. They keep an eye on you. And with tax investigation, it's usually unusual bank transactions. Normally the bank tell HMRC that there's something unusual going in the bank. And again, they look at your lifestyle. What you've declared in your tax return, does it match your lifestyle? They look at that. And also, what the other one could be, where family and friends tell HMRC, please check this friend, or check this person.
Really?
That does happen, yes.
Okay, that's some valuable information, actually, yeah. Gets me thinking. Okay, what should one do if they were being investigated? What is your advice?
I think, again, I would say, keep calm. And if you have an accountant or tax advisors, speak to them and tell them what the situation is, and do ask them if they have the expertise in this field. Not all accountants are or have the experience in that field. So that's the first thing I would say to you. Stay calm, don't be nervous, and talk to your accountant. If the accountant hasn't got the experience, then you seek or find a person who has that experience. So that's what you should do. Okay. And not just go to anybody, find the right person that has the expertise in that.
Okay, so if somebody, do you want to add anything to that, Tim? Or?
As well as the unannounced visit where they come in and say, "Hello, I'm HMRC, I'm here to look at you for the VAT." If you're, say, a restaurant and they suspect that you're not paying the correct amount of VAT or even tax, they may come in on, say, a Friday evening, sit there, have a meal. They'll count how many people come in, and then they'll times that by, say, the average, say 100 people come in, times that by the average price of a meal, say £20 a head. Then they'll do the maths, times that by 7, then times it by 52 weeks, and saying, okay, then your turnover should be X amount. So that's also another way. Okay. There's the unannounced visit where they don't actually tell you who they are. So they've come to check up on you, and that's when you're under suspicion of not paying the correct amount of tax and VAT.
Okay. And you mentioned about using the professionals when you're in investigation.
Yes, I mean, we tend to find this easier for us, and also for HMRC and for the clients, if you use or consult with people who have expertise in that. So within our firm, we have ex-HMRC inspectors and VAT inspectors, where when a case comes to us, we look at the case as a team of accountants and inspectors. We discuss it, we put it to the clients, and then the approach that we're going to take, once everyone's happy, and then we approach the HMRC and we then say, look, this is what we think, rather than just do our guesswork.
Okay, that's brilliant. And obviously using these experts, they don't come cheap, I know that.
Yes.
Is that additional cost to your services, or?
It is additional. The insurance that some people, you may have heard of business insurance or tax insurance or protection insurance. The insurance only pays for the accountant's fees. Obviously, it doesn't pay for the possible tax that you have to pay. That just does come at the additional cost to the client.
Okay, okay.
But if I can just say there, although it's an additional cost to the clients, HMRC will always say, I want X amount, let's say £100,000 in unpaid tax, and then obviously the accountant's arguing it down to say 50,000, so then there's a £50,000 saving if you can pay the accountants and also pay the expert in a lot less than that saving. The client is actually saving money by using these experts.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So basically, because these experts are involved, they
That's right.
find ways of proving, help you find ways of
And
proving that you
we've
haven't.
also noticed that the inspectors who are chasing the client or after the client, when they find that we are working with ex-inspectors, they find it easier to communicate, and
Definitely.
the case gets easily resolved, or takes it quicker and most efficiently it gets resolved.
Okay. Can you give us a recent case study you dealt with?
Yes, I've did one which actually unfortunately taken me 3 years to do, because the accountant who was dealing with the case, or was the accountant for that person, was very unhelpful. That one, the person had 4 businesses, and they had about 20, 30 properties, commercial and both residential and commercial properties. And HMRC were after him from 2002. From 2002 to 2012, that's the period they were looking at. And as I said, it's taken us 3 years to do the case. And then they were after £1.8 million of tax.
Wow.
And we brought it down to 350. And then because of the time length, the person that ended up paying penalties and interest, and eventually altogether he paid £600,000 tax.
Wow, okay.
So there's a lot of work, and if you find the person or the client is helping you, or providing information to you, obviously the quicker you get the information, it's easier and cleaner to do. If it's time consuming, obviously it's cost for the client, and obviously HMRC find it hard then to give you the discount, because with the investigation, what they always do, they put penalties. Whatever the tax is, if the tax is, let's say, £100,000, the possible penalties for that is £100,000 plus £70,000 on top.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So obviously the person that we were working on, because we were trying to help the client, HMRC, and because we had the ex-inspectors working for us, or working with us, the penalty was about 30% rather than the usual 70%.
Okay, so that's
the massive saving on £1.8 million of tax.
Wow, okay.
That's still a
Do you
huge...
have anything to add to that?
It's still a huge saving. HMRC were after 1.8 million, but they got, what was it, 600,000?
Yeah, which includes the penalties and interest.
So that's like 1.2 million
Yeah, that's a massive
saving.
Life-changing.
Yeah, so and they would have paid nowhere near that in accountancy fees and HMRC, ex-HMRC inspector fees either. So the saving there was absolutely ginormous.
Yeah, it's about working smart, isn't
That's
it?
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're in a situation. What do? Do you deal with it yourself, or do you get professionals in and let the professionals deal with it?
And the earlier they bring the professionals in, the better the situation. Yeah, the better we can do, and ultimately the lower the penalties.
And as just to add to Tim, it's always best to use people who've actually were there, so they understand how the system works, how to approach them, rather than...
Yeah, that's a clever way you've dealt with it.
That's the best way to do it, I believe.
Because obviously they've been there, they've done it, they've investigated people themselves
Yes.
in the past, so they know exactly what's the next question and what they're looking into, what not. So
that's right.
Having them on board is the best
We
way
recently
to do
had a case where an accountant was working for someone or working with someone, and where he just simply was providing information to HMRC without actually understanding what the information was for, what the implications are for providing those information. So it's best to actually find out what the information is, understand the implication, then provide a work on it, or tell them, look, this is what we found, and this is the reason we think it relates to the investigation, not just provide it to them.
Okay, excellent. Okay, thank you. I've got a nice question for you here. Okay.
Easy.
Why is it important to have a good accountant?
Good accountants will invariably save you more money than you pay them in their fees. By that I mean they'll find out exactly what you can offset, but on the other hand, as well as offsetting against the taxes, it's also protecting you from a future tax liability, because obviously you don't want to reclaim a lot of tax now to pay it back in the future with an additional liability. So they can save you as much tax as possible, but within the rules. But additionally protect you from any future liabilities by doing things right now.
Okay. Now, I've got another really good interesting question. If I have a company which has a bank balance of X amount, let's say, what is the best way to take money out of the company?
If it's got a lot of retained profit in the bank account, and you're thinking of not carrying on in that business anymore, so for example, I know your insurance brokerage is one of your firms, so if you was coming to the end of that company and you had say 100,000 in that account, you could either take it out and pay personal tax on that
Business
amount.
money.
Yeah, business money.
Yeah. Not
so
client money.
No, not client money.
Just to clarify.
Yeah,
things,
yeah, you can't run off with your client's money.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know.
Can we
a way
come
of doing
back
that.
to that if you don't
Yeah.
mind, Tim, because that's an
Yeah,
interesting
okay.
question. We need to go to the break.
Okay.
Viewers, we're going to continue from there, so stay tuned. See you after the break.